Hey everybody, this is Mr. H here to help, and today I'm going to do episode 12 of my Daily Desmos series where we do a challenge graph. So check out this challenge graph. This is called Zig-Zag Charlie Brown, number 2, Advanced, and we're looking to make this zigzag shape using Desmos, or you can use any other type of graphing calculator. This was made by Dan Anderson, and as we look here, it says, can you create the following graph using Desmos.com or some other graphing tool? If you are victorious, leave us a note in the comments when you're done. Zigzag function might be helpful. So there's a previous challenge called zigzag function that you might look at first. And then if you look down here, there are some people that have already done this. So we are going to give this a try. Now, if you would like to try to graph this before seeing how I do it, you should definitely stop the video right now and go give that a try. You can get to this at DailyDesmos.com, and I'll also have a link down in the description. But otherwise, let's forge ahead here and go right to coming up with this graph. So the first thing I noticed was we are going to need yellow. And in Desmos, if we have an equation like this and you click and hold on the green, you see how usually only these 6 colors are coming up, but I have yellow as an option here, and it says C subscript yellow down there. So the way that you get that to happen if you don't have yellow is, well, I'm going to put C, or capital C, and then subscript yellow, and you don't have to name it this, but I like to name my colors in this way. But Desmos has this nice feature. This is new. You used to have to go through quite a hassle to get different colors, but now you can just type RGB, and if you know the 3-number RGB code for that color that you're looking for, you can just type it in right here, and it will give you access to that color on all of your graphs. So I have looked up ahead of time that this color of yellow is 255, 255, 0, and you see how there it gives me that yellow color. And so if you do that, this will now show up as an option for you as well. So anytime that you're doing an equation and you click and hold here, it should give you yellow now as an option. Now I think maybe because I did it and then did it again later, it takes that option off. So I'm going to have to get rid of this in order to have it show up for me, because you can't have it in there in your document twice. So let me just go, yep, now I have it back. Okay, so you want to have that probably as one of your first lines, because we are going, let me get a few extra lines up here, to basically just make the whole graph yellow to begin with. And so let's do that simply by saying like y is less than 10. Okay, and if y is less than 10, I click and hold, I can make that yellow. And you see it's kind of a canary yellow at first, but if I go down here to where it says fill, I can change the opacity to 100% by putting a 1 in there, and now I have this very, very bright yellow going on. Now, I'm going to turn that graph off for now because it's a very bright yellow to work with, and I'm going to work on the zigzag pattern here first. So I know that the most fundamental type of zigzag is something like f of x equals the square root of x. So let's go, well, I have to change this because I have f of x as a different function down there in my folder. So f of x, or so let's do g of x equals, and I'm going to do the absolute value of x. Okay, great. Now that's nice, but what I really want to do is I want to shift that down by 2, because I'm picturing if I can get the bottom of this graph to flip upwards to reflect over that x-axis, then I can start to have a zigzag shape. And so here's my idea of how I'd like to do that. If I make a new function, but say I want this function to be g of x, now it'll do it twice, right? And so if I click this first one off so that we can't see it, now we're starting to have a zigzag. And you probably recognize what I'm going to do next to make this zigzag go further. All I'll need to do is add more g of, do the composite function, g of g of g of g, and so on. So this is coming up to already give me a very nice zigzag looking shape here. And all I want to do now is I'd like to change this to black. Let's see. Well, it doesn't look quite steep enough also. So to make this slightly steeper, let's see what we can do. If I put a ×2 out here in the front, you see how that makes it steeper immediately, which is nice. And then I'd like to have this have a lot of lines here to kind of fill in the space upward to make the entire zigzag. So let's bring this up a little bit. And right here, I'm going to put in an array. I'm going to say, let's graph this, and with a bracket, I want to add 0 to this, but I also want to add, let's say, 0.02. And so now there's just one more line right on top of it. And if I go also, comma, I want to put 0.04. And so on. That line is going to get slightly thicker and go up little by little. But if I want much more of this to happen at once, I can say ... Let's go all the way up to 1. So that's going by 2/100ths each step. And we're adding in all of those different lines. So we have about 50 lines so far. Now that's clearly not tall enough. So let's go all the way up to 3. That looks pretty good. What if we go all the way up to 4? Ooh, that looks even more like the original. Let's go back to the original real quick. That is looking pretty close. Very nice. Hey, so I mean, that is a pretty neat looking equation. If I turn back on the yellow background, we have our Charlie Brown zigzag shape. So there we go. Now, if you've liked this, if you're interested in seeing more of these challenge videos, this was episode 12. There's obviously 11 episodes before this that you can go back through and see what I've done so far. But my plan is to continue on and do these Daily Desmos challenges as often as I can, hopefully working toward actually doing them daily. And that'll be a really good time. So check down in the description for all sorts of links that I have for you. And if you need anything, you can comment, ask a question. I try to get back to people as soon as I can answering questions. I love it when people are trying to figure things out, trying to problem solve, and they have questions. I'm here to help. So have a great day, everybody.